Oh, I will find you. Fear not, my love. Love of my life, don't you forget, although we're apart, I hope this song will bring you comfort. I hope it warms your heart. And like the river, flowing seaward, I'm missing you. Through the darkness, I will find you. Fear not, my So now you're sitting by the water, and I'm still on the line. I wish that I was right beside you. I hope I'm on your mind. And I'm missing you.
so empty inside. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. Taking my time, letting this river gush and be wild. It's all moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. So moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe, try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. Without you. This morning I miss you. I feel it in every part of my bones.
I was not your family, I was a stranger to you once, but you treated me like we had the same blood. I drove up to a cabin, to Wisconsin in the woods. We shot fireworks and drank till we felt good. And the sky was clear in that summer air. You showed me so much kindness I do not understand. Who puts that kind of soul inside a man? And you always say the same thing, we believe in you. It was a little thing for us that we just wanted to do. The night I met your family, the night I met your friends, there were plates of buttered shrimp and hungry hands. And as the fireworks were dying, the whiskey shots were flying, at 2 a.m. something's cooking in the oven. The sun is rising in the eastern sky. You showed me so much kindness I do not understand. Puts that kind of soul inside a man. And you always say the same thing, we believe in you. It was a little thing for us that we just wanted to do. Someday I'll make you proud, as proud as I am now. When I think of that day I smile clear and loud. And I always say the same thing, God sent those folks to me to clear some brush off of the path to Tennessee, and to help me be the man I want to be. You showed me so much kindness I do not understand. Who puts that kind of soul inside a man? And now you always say the same thing, we believe